How many years? How many times do you have to come up short before coming up short just eats away at you? Eats away at your soul. Eats away at your body. Eats away at your mind. It tears you down to the ground. You know who picks you up? No one's there to pick you up. The only one that's there to pick you up is you. The man in the mirror. And sometimes it takes the man in the mirror to really define and submit what a champion is like. What a champion is supposed to do. How a champion recovers from their mistakes. As they go against the machine. As they go against everybody. A champion is defined by not how many championships they win, but how many times they can get knocked down and get back up and seize what's theirs. And that's what the finals are. That's what June is for a lot of people. That's what it is for me. It's the time of the year where you can get knocked down repeatedly. Where you can dust yourself off and say that this is my moment. To be a champion. To be the best in the world at what I do. This is the NBA Finals, folks. And the NBA Finals came down tonight to one man and one team coming together. You see the two on the screen, Steph Curry and LeBron James, the leaders of their respective teams, and came down to this moment. And I'm glad to say that the 2015 world champions are the Golden State Warriors. Yes, folks, world championship breaking news. The Warriors break their streak. But the Cleveland Cavaliers streak in Cleveland's overall just continues to go on. And why? I will tell you why in this video. In this video, I will break down what happened in the NBA Finals, why it ended in 6 games. Alright, who was responsible for the victory and who was responsible for the loss on the Cavaliers side. And I will also give you guys an early preview into next season. But first, let's talk about the NBA Finals now. Alright. I didn't do a preview of the NBA Finals because of one reason and one reason only. I felt as though that it wasn't necessary. Alright, everything was on the table, everything was there for you guys that basically see, and it was just, you know, I could have did that video in 2 minutes. I could have said pace and just ended the video. Pace was the key to this series, and Golden State, like they've been doing all year long, controlled the pace. Alright, now the Cavaliers had a leg up in this series. They certainly did. And Steve Kerr said, hey, we lead the league in pace. Why don't we just change the pace for these guys and force their big men, alright, to move their feet, to move around. And then when they move their feet and they move around, what we'll do is we'll just, you know, display our passing skills and our shooting skills and make open jumpers. That's basically what it was. Now I'm gonna go in on David Blatt here. Because it's one of those situations where, you know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Players win in the regular season. Players win in the playoffs, of course they do. But coaches win the NBA Finals. Alright, let me say that again so people can understand. Players win in the regular season. They win the regular season for you. Players can win the first round, the second round, even the conference finals. Alright? But coaches win the NBA championship. Alright. And Steve Kerr's move to go smaller with Iguodala and the rest of those guys, you know, it changed the series. They moved, they basically went from semi-fast to extra fast overnight. And it was just too much for the Cavaliers big men to handle. Alright. As much crap as I've given Draymond Green, he's a very, very good player. I think he had a double-double, not double-double, a triple-double in the clinching game in Cleveland, Game 6. All right. The Finals MVP, without a shadow of a doubt, should be Curry. This video is actually happening during the 4th quarter. This game is over, folks. All right. It's over. Cleveland, I feel bad for Cleveland. I really do. But LeBron's come close, a couple of times, and I mean it's just not meant to be. You know, I know what the Cavalier fans are going to do. I know what they're going to do. All right, Kyrie Irving not being there, losing love in the first series. I know where you guys can come from and say that that's the reason why you lost in 6 games to the Golden State Warriors. All right, but in actuality, you guys kind of didn't need either one of them. All you really needed was LeBron. But you know, when you guys in game 4 was the nail in the coffin. All right, you can't go that cold in this being the NBA Finals. You cannot go that cold in the NBA Finals and expect to win it. All right, they were knocking down those shots. LeBron was dishing. He was doing everything. Let me tell you like this: for all those Hawks fans out there that I was talking about in the Eastern Conference Finals, look, LeBron can beat you by himself, but he could not beat Golden State by himself. He just can't do it. He couldn't do it. And he needed J.R. Smith. He needed James Jones. He needed Delavendova. He needed those guys, Shumpert. He needed those guys to hit those shots in game 4, and they just didn't do it. They didn't do it. And why didn't they do it? Because they just weren't ready for that situation. They woke up and said, we have a chance to take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. And we just didn't do it. He didn't do it. Steve Kerr basically won this championship for the Golden State Warriors. All right. His move to basically take Iguodala and put him into the lineup and give him more minutes, and Barbosa and the rest of that team to go smaller. It changed the series. No doubt. Because the Golden State Warriors at one time and point looked like they were just down in the dumps, man. They looked like they were against the ropes. For sure. So Steve Kerr, man, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors. He won this series for them. As far as David Black goes, I mean, yeah, you don't have Kyrie Irving, you don't have Love, but you got to counter a move like that. And then when he countered, it was too late. I question, why do you have guys like Mike Miller on your bench in the playoffs and you not use him in that situation? Why don't you go to him? A playoff vet, a guy that's been there. I know these a little bit banged up, and maybe one player makes a difference, maybe 2 players makes a difference, but Iguodala, he definitely made the difference for the Golden State Warriors in this series. So, at the end of the day, LeBron just couldn't do it by himself. That's what the reality of the situation is. It's a great season by, Curry. Finals MVP, that's why I'm predicting. NBA MVP. I mean, this guy, the future is very bright for Golden State. Now, as I promised in the beginning of the video, we're going to be giving a preview of next year. All right. Of course, you got the Clippers. Let's look at the West. Of course, you got the Clippers. You got the Rockets. You got the Grizzlies. You got the Spurs. Are they still old? Can they still do it? I mean, they're getting up there, and people don't like when I call the Spurs old. They're old. All right. Then you got teams that's on the rise like the Pelicans. Teams that you have to watch out for like the Suns, who can suddenly become very, very good. You got the Portland Trail Blazers with LaMarcus Aldridge. Maybe he comes back healthy. Maybe they're here next year. Who knows? I mean, I really like Damian Lillard. Golden State has such of a young core, man, to the point where they could be here the next 3 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those situations where the West is always stacked out. And of course, I would be, it would be irresponsible of me not to mention Westbrook and Durant coming back, both healthy, both in the starting lineup with the addition of Cantor. They're going to be a threat going into next year. All right. And we're going to see what happens with the offseason and transitions and trades and all that other stuff in the NBA draft, how that shapes the Western Conference. Now, the Eastern Conference. All right. Like I said, I don't want to label myself as a Hawks hater. Okay. But the Hawks were this year's version of the Pacers, of last year's Pacers. A very good team, but maybe they overachieved a little bit. Maybe they're going to take a step back. How do you take a step up, Atlanta, from what you did this season? How do you step up from what you did this season? I don't think that you step up. I think that you step down, like the Indiana Pacers did this year from last year. All right. I mean, that's just the way that it is. Then you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference. I mean, look at teams like the Wizards. The Wizards are definitely on the rise. They could be the #1 seed next year. The Cavaliers, if you get Love and Irvin back healthy, maybe they're here next year for sure. They should be on the fast track to being here next year. I don't know about Chris Bosh and D Wade and the Heat. I don't know if those guys are going to stay healthy for a full 82 in order to make an impact. You have to watch out for the Knicks. Like I said, I mean, it's just a team. Like, if they could get somebody to play along with Carmelo, they could be a threat going into the playoffs next year. They're a team that's on the rise. A team that I'm looking at, I'm saying that they might digress a little bit. Maybe Toronto. I mean, they just really no-showed against the Wizards in the playoffs, and it really shocked me. I mean, it was almost like they seen the bright lights and they just got scared or something. I mean, it was really telling how they just fell back. And then you look at teams like the Bucks. I think that the Bucks are in a good enough situation. They might be a couple of players away. Chicago's got a brand new head coach. We'll see how that goes. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. New head coach. I don't know how you get rid of Thibodeau. I don't think that he was the problem. I think that the fact that the Bulls organization just didn't surround D Rose around enough players to the fact that if D Rose went down, they could still win, just like the Cavaliers did. All right, it wasn't Tom Thibodeau's fault, and I'll be one of the first people to say it. So looking at the whole situation, man, I see a bunch of teams that's on the rise in the Eastern Conference too. The Eastern Conference is one of those lame duck conferences. Can't forget about the Magic. They could be in the playoffs next year too. All right, another team that people need to watch out for. So let me know how you guys feel about the NBA playoffs overall. Was it a great playoffs? The Warriors winning the championship. And let me say this. I don't think I would forgive myself for 13, 14 minutes deep into this video. I don't think I could say this, get away without, saying this in this video. This is Mark Jackson's team. The Golden State Warriors is Mark Jackson's team. I don't care what anybody says. And Steve Kerr, I give the man respect. He took Mark Jackson's team and he won this championship. That's no doubt about it. All right. It's the same thing with Tony Dungy and John Gruden with that 1999, 2000, 2001 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. If you know your sports, you cannot dislike what I just said. All right. If you know your sports, you can't dispute it. It's a fact. All right. Sometimes certain coaches are able to get certain teams over the hump to make them better. All right. But this team was put together for Mark Jackson. I'm just saying. All right. Great NBA Finals as the music starts to cut me off. I'm looking forward to next season. Everything that's going on with it. If I missed your team in next year's preview, let me know. I'll comment down below on where I think that your team might be going in the NBA draft. Oh yeah, one more thing. NBA draft videos going to be coming up next week on the 25th. Make sure that you guys subscribe, tune in for that. It's the WC. It's been a great NBA Finals. It's been a great NBA playoffs. It's been a great NBA season. And until next time, folks, peace out.